చేయట్లేదు.
It's not working. Everyone to introduce yourselves. Please pass. The name and affiliation.
Hi, this is Junaid from Andhra University Incubation Council.
From MSc Biotechnology, Andhra University. Hello, sir. I'm Rakshita from Bulay College, MSc Biotechnology.
Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm
I'm
Zedrin
Rakshita.
from second year MS Biotech from Andhra University.
Hello everyone, my name is Chiranjeevi. I'm from TCAPS.
Hi sir, my name is Lakshmi Naidu. I am from Raghu.
Hello everyone, I am Varun. I am from PCN Technologies startup.
Hi everyone, myself Abhishek Patnaik from Vijayanagaram. I am a founder of Python Technologies.
I'm Srinivas, former BPCL employee, startup enthusiast. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So this is Ritesh from Sangeetika Polytechnic College. Currently in Electronics and Communication Engineering.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Charita, an intern at Aham.
Okay, let's pass the mic around to just those who entered just now. Introduce yourself, just your name and affiliation. Please.
My name is Gautam Goshi. I'm from Vignans Institute of Information Technology. I'm currently pursuing third year. I'm Sauri. I'm from Vignan. I'm pursuing third year CS.
Hi sir, my name is Sai Kumar Naik. I am from Vigyan College.
Myself, Harika. I'm from Vignan and I'm in third year.
You don't want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. I am Pranav, fourth year CSC, Andhra University.
Thank you. A warm welcome to all the speakers, guests, and attendees. Thank you for joining us today. This forum's purpose is to establish and build an integrated ecosystem with a variety of supports for entrepreneurs. It is open to everyone, and we hope you will take full advantage of it by participating and contributing. If you're wondering what can and does happen in these sessions, here is a brief outline. The first segment is Show Me the Money. This is a segment where Charita, our branch management intern, presents details about a source of fund and provides dates and few details of other sources of money. Technical talk is the second segment. Each session has a different topic, bringing in experts sharing their experience and expertise. The next segment is pitching your startup or your idea. So take the opportunity to pitch your startup or ideas, get some feedback, and improve on your pitch. Pitch as frequently as you can. The last segment is open mic. Anybody who's inspired and feels like you want to share something, a thought, something that you're doing. There is limited time, but yes, please welcome. We put in the effort to organize these and we are having fun. The more you engage, the more you derive. That's been the mantra at AHUB. The more you engage, the more you derive. Here are a few basic rules before we commence the meeting. Kindly put your mobile phones on silent mode. Please refrain from entering or exiting the session while the speaker is delivering their presentation. Please wait until the speaker concludes their session. Please refrain from cross-talk or side conversation. It is distracting. Please, if you are pitching today and have a presentation, please send your presentation to me now. It will keep the program on track and avoid unnecessary technical details. You have my number and please WhatsApp me. Within a tight program, kindly note that the pitch is allotted a maximum time of 10 minutes. That is for startup pitches. 6 to 7 minutes to present and 3 to 4 minutes for Q&A. For idea pitches, it is 3 minutes, 2 minutes for presentation, 1 minute for Q&A. We tried as best as we can to keep to the timelines. If there is more time available, we are okay engaging you, but we try to enforce those timelines because pitching in short times is important. We request the audience to reserve your questions for the designated Q&A period for each segment. And if the speaker is engaging you like an interactive session, please follow the speaker's lead. Thank you all for coming again. Charita is here with a short presentation on go-to-market funding strategies. Just a reminder, Charita is going through various sources of funding systematically each week. Since she has only 10 minutes here, she is writing a blog post following each of her presentations. Eventually, we'll have a knowledge base of funding sources, various nuances of funding for startups, and a blog. Our blogs are published on our website, www.a-hub.co. I have to open because we had to restart the computer before we started this. Oh gosh, this is okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Charita, an intern at AHUB. In the past few weeks, we have covered the various sources of funding. So we started with bootstrapping, crowdfunding.
We can move the browser window. It's an extension. Yes, comes on the top and drag it.
So today we're discussing about go-to-market funding. So basically, go-to-market funding is going to the market to get your capital. So go-to-market funding can mean like, okay, so I need capital. I'm going to the customers present in the market to fund for my product or service. So it could either be to launch a product. It could also be to upscale your market. So it can be used for marketing, sales, distribution, or even for simple customer engagement. So
Page down. Is it
Page down.
So let's go through the importance of go-to-market funding. So the first is product launch and market entry. So if you're new into the market and you don't have any source of entry, into the market. So what you do is you can use this type of funding where So you can take advances from your customers. So let's say, for example, there's a product and you don't know which if your product is going to be viable in the market or not. So what you'll do, you'll just start in the basic steps to go to the customers, market your product and say, okay, so my product is, let's say, 1,000 rupees, but for now, if you take it now before I launch the product, you'll get it for like 500 or like 750 rupees. So that you're also getting the capital before you even launch the product for your further marketing or like further production. You can also go the same for the services. So next, customer acquisition. It's just a simple extension of product launch. So not only you're able to launch your product and enter the market, you're also being able to acquire customers, acquire new customers, and build a loyal customer base. And coming to operational scaling, so you again, like as we discussed, it's not just you're gaining customers or entering the market. You're also getting funds for your operations around for new production. Coming to competitive advantage, so you might have a lot of other competitors in the market. Let's say selling the same product for 1,500 or even 1,000 rupees. So now that you're using GTM funding, so you're selling it for lesser price. You're selling it for 750 or 500, which is still a profit for the customer. So they're getting a discount. So they're obviously, you have like a competitive advantage over your competitors. And then investor confidence and business viability. So not only you're able to get like customers, you're also gaining investors. So investors could see that, okay, so this particular business enterprise is viable, that they have a lot of good customer base, so I could invest more amount of money into the particular company. So funding stages for GTM. So you could use GTM funding at the different types of stages. Let's say, how could you use GTM at pre-seed stage? So it could be used for market research or like prototype development. So you could just start for like researching if if my product or service can be used or like grow. Will it be viable in the present market condition? If not, how could I improve it? And then coming to prototype development, again, like how can my product be improved? Is there any other sources I could improve it, or any other features I could add so that my product will be viable in the market? And seed stage, at the seed stage, you could use to acquire customers. The basic advantage of GTM at seed stage is acquiring your customers. And then at any other stage, like Series A or Series B or C, you could use to expand your operations or like acquire new investors into your company. Okay, so how do you secure a GTM funding? So you have to develop a strong business plan. So you can't just use GTM funding for all of your operations. It should be a combination. You should either go for like a venture capitalist or like an angel investor, bank loan or something or the other. You need a combination. So you could take the amount of equity and debt should be like an optimal ratio for GTM funding to work. And then you have to create a strategy. So at what stage of the investment am I using GTM funding? So am I using it at the pre-seed stage, seed stage, or at any other stage of the funding? And then coming to demonstrate traction. So you have to show that there is a slow growth, that there is a slow amount of sales or like partnerships available through GTM funding. And then build investor relationships. So you have to not only use GTM funding, you also have to be able to use other sources, like maybe we could use other sources like venture capitalists or like angel investors or even partnerships or bank loans like we've discussed in previous sessions. And then you could also use it for like to show if you're applying for a grant or like applying for like a particular let's say a government scheme or like funding scheme. So you should be able to show them that, okay, I did this, I have this many customers, and I've used this particular source of funding to get these many customers. So using GTM funding, it would be an easier show. And coming to the conclusion, so we have multiple sources of funding. So not just you're not going to use only one source of funding for any particular resource, particular company. So you need a combination. So GTM funding is best used when it's a combination and not just a single thing. So it accelerates your revenue and also shows your visibility in the market, and it also helps you acquire your investors or even your customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra. Charita, sorry. Thank you, Charita. So if you have any questions about this or any other sources of funding, Charita is available at AHAB in the afternoons usually. She is a full-time student at DCMS, pursuing her MBA. She is an intern at AHAB. Others who are students here who would like to intern at AHAB, in our administrative office, we have various roles, so you can come and explore with us. Let's move on to the main part of today's session. That's the feature presentation. Before I invite today's speaker, a few words about our feature presentation, feature session. If you're wondering how we pick our speakers for these technical sessions, here is a brief explanation. We focus at 4 levels to explore entrepreneurship and bring you the best of ideas and depth of understanding. We look at the individual, the company, the sector, and the ecosystem. Each level has a distinct set of challenges and opportunities, suitable set of skills and resources, and provides a level of understanding of entrepreneurship. If you are already an entrepreneur, these talks will help you understand the journey. If you are considering it or are just exploring it, these talks will give you a great intro into the journey. Today we will straddle between all 4 of these. This talk is quite interesting for this very reason. AU is a large academic ecosystem. Within this, AHAB is an innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem, slowly spreading its roots deep into the larger academic ecosystem. As many think that AHAB is not just one building, it is an ecosystem that's spread across all departments across the university. So TCAPC in that sense is part of AHAB. TCAPC is an exemplar of how an ecosystem is embedded into the academic ecosystem. Within TCAPC, Professor Ravikiran leads a team of students from successive batches doing innovative research and patenting his research and commercializing it. So today we have Professor Ravikiran available to us to speak about his efforts. TCAPC is set up within the Department of Zoology at AU, drawing on strengths of an academic department, both infrastructure and young active minds. Their most recent achievement is the isolation of endometrial stem cells from menstrual waste and printing them into a 3-dimensional shape. I took that as a quote, word to word, from a news article. So I really don't have any idea what that means. So I'm looking forward to learning more as Professor Ravikiran will explain to us. So what's interesting to me is worked with successive batches of students. I've known Professor Ravikiran for more than a year now, and I've been watching his efforts, and it's really inspiring to see how he works with so many batches of students, one after the other, as they come and work through their academic program, and how he built a body of work. So the center provides research opportunities, internships, hosts an academic journal, and the annual Vishaka Life Sciences and Entrepreneurship Symposium. A lot is going on there. So Professor Ravikiran, please welcome.
Good evening, all. Thanks, Diwakar, for the excellent introduction. Yes, so I came into Andhra University back in 2021. So the previous Vice Chancellor, Dr. PVGV Prasad Reddy garu, he has invited me He suggested that I should start a small laboratory, a branch of my lab, which is used to be in the heart of the Visakhapatnam city near the RTC complex. So we started out as a small branch in the Department of Zoology, and now we've officially moved completely into the AU. So my full lab is in the AU. So today I'm going to just briefly touch upon how the journey has happened and our inspirations and our achievements in a nutshell, basically, so to speak. My lab is primarily focused on the ideas, discovery, and also the entrepreneurship, because these days just discovering new things is not enough, because if your idea is sitting in your pocket or sitting in the drawer of your desk, it doesn't mean anything to the society. So if you're not making any innovation that is not useful to the society, then I'm sorry to say, but you're wasting your time and resources. So better think of something that is actually useful for the society. So everything that we do is primarily focused on the benefit of the society, whether it is a new drug or a new vaccine or a new diagnostic kit. So we are primarily life sciences, so all our discoveries are in the life sciences. We also do, actually I forgot to mention that my lab is multidisciplinary. So we do chemistry, pharmacy, and also we do a little bit of artificial intelligence. I'm not an expert in AI, but we're slowly getting into it. So that being said, let me, first of all, without my team, I don't think I can establish my lab. So I owe a lot to the founding members of my lab. Sitting with me on the left and right is Niharika on the left and Madhumita on the right in blue. And everybody standing in the back, starting from the left, Manikanta, Jahnavi, Desi, Manisha, Akhila, Hemsai, Abhinav, and Madhuri. So these students, they were all undergraduates, second-year undergraduates that played a pivotal role in the establishment of TCAPC in Visakhapatnam. So originally TCAPC was established in Rajahmundry, and I'm sure Chiranjeevi is here. He was actually one of the first students of TCAPC when we started in 2019 back in Rajahmundry. Like I said, without the team, there's no TCAPC. So I owe a lot to my team. And like I said, in 2021, December 20th, we signed an MOU with Andhra University, and we entered the campus as a small branch in the Department of Zoology. So part of my lab was in the zoology department, and part of my lab was outside near the RTC complex area. I have to thank Mr. Ravi Surapu, the CEO of AHUB. I'm guessing he's still the CEO. Yes, he is. All right, the CEO of AHUB. He was really instrumental. So standing right next to Ravi is Professor Shami Madam. So she was the HOD of zoology department back then. And Ravi was talking to me and Shami Madam back and forth, trying to get the MOU set up, and so that we can actually move into the Department of Zoology. And then the person standing right next to Shami Madam is Professor Krishna Mohan, the registrar back then. He suggested, why do you have to do the MOU with Zoology Department? Why don't you do the MOU with Andhra University? I said that would be fantastic. And so we approached the Vice Chancellor, who was standing right next to me, Professor PVGT Prasad Reddy Garu. And he immediately said, let's do the MOU. So that's how we started the MOU with the Andhra University. So, getting into the presentation that I wanted to talk to you about is, most of the time I get a lot of students from different departments, like I said, pharmacy, chemistry, life sciences, engineering. They come to me and say, I have this brilliant idea. It's like, fantastic, explain it. As you can see, their idea is very complicated, right? Because they themselves don't have a clear picture. But that's where I come into play. Mentorship. By the way, I want to acknowledge Google because I took these images from Google, but I didn't get a chance to, cite the Google on the slide. So that's why I put in that image saying that, the mentor is very important, because you could have an idea, but a mentor is the one that really takes you through the path so that you can go to the drawing board, you can draw your idea and finally get a shape. Until you get the shape, you have to go through a lot of different processes, frustration, tiredness, and all these things. But in the end, when you get the final shape, trust me, it's all worth it. So this is the process that I go through, and I really enjoy doing this. So every single day, when a new student comes in, I'm looking for the idea. The student talks to me about a lot of different things. It's like I'm trying to pick points here and there, trying to connect the dots and say, oh, okay, this is what you mean. And there are situations where the students got frustrated because every time they came to me, they were trying to explain their ideas to me. I said, yeah, well, it's not good. And they get frustrated. They think, I'm actually trying to avoid them, but I'm actually not avoiding them. I'm trying to push them nicely, gently, because whatever the level of their thinking is not enough. They have to think beyond that point. And I am not going to give them the clarity on their idea. I made sure that they struggle and they go through this process. And in the end, when they draw the 3D shape, they understand what the journey looks like. And then I tell them, yeah, this is the answer. This is your final answer. And of course, that's the celebration day, so to speak, because we fill out this IDF, the information disclosure form, to file for a patent or start writing a manuscript to publish a paper in the international journals. Like Diwakar has mentioned earlier, we have our own multidisciplinary international online journal. So we publish papers from all respects of the aspects of the science, engineering, pharmacy, everything. So another thing that I usually say to the students is, I really appreciate that you're working hard, but that's not enough. Because when I was a kid, my mentor told me that you have to work hard. And most of my mentors gave me this example. The crow is trying to drop the stones into the water so that the water level will rise and the crow can actually drink water. It's hard work. Yes, of course, hard work has become the new norm. Okay? And when I was in the United States, by the way, I did my PhD in the United States. So I was working as a scientist at the US federal government. And they told us, it's like change is the new norm. If you don't embrace it, then you will be erased. That's absolutely right. Okay? You cannot expect things to be the same the next day when you wake up. So if you're not ready to face that change, then you'll be lagging in your career progress or anything that you're working on. So it's not about working hard anymore because everybody works hard these days. It's about working smart. That's where, because you need to save the time, because people are doing multitasking these days. For example, a lot of students, they'll be doing a part-time job somewhere. They're going to the college full-time and they have to do an internship in the afternoon or in the evening. So it's not easy to maintain your schedule, the time commitments and the time management. But that is where you have to work smart. Just working hard, reading books in the library 10 times is not going to be enough. Read between the lines and understand what it is, and then just remember that. And you can write your own words because, English has become so common these days. I mean, the one thing, I don't like the British, but one thing I have to thank them is, they gave us good English. I'm proud of that. But we gave them the curry. Curry is very famous in UK, by the way. So it's one of the famous dishes. So, it was a nice exchange between us. Yeah. Okay, so just want to give you a brief overview of what we do. We have, every year we conduct an online exam and then select students, at least 20-25 students across Andhra University. So it's one of the things that we do as a part of our MOU. So based on the exam, we shortlist people and we do interviews and then we finalize, like I said, 20 to 25 people. And the idea is to train them as the next generation scientists. I mean, yes, you can become a scientific entrepreneur, but you have to become a scientist first. Otherwise, you're not a scientific entrepreneur. You're just an entrepreneur. Anybody can be an entrepreneur, but if you want to be a scientific entrepreneur, but you have to know the basics of science first. So we train them in the science. And our internship programs are basically more than 95% hands-on practicals. We do a little bit theory every now and then, here and there. Why? Because YouTube is pretty self-sufficient for the theoretical concepts. If you have a question, go watch on the YouTube video. I am sure you can find anything, everything on YouTube these days, down to the molecular atomic level. So there's no point in me wasting the theory, right? Wasting my time on theory. And then the one main emphasis when we do these internships is we encourage the students to think outside the box. Just because your seniors have done something, just because your dad or mom done something, just because your professor has done something, doesn't restrict you to do things differently. Okay? So think outside the box. Maybe that is where the novelty comes from. I cannot guarantee, but that is a good start where you can actually come up with novelty to some extent. And we do PG projects for all the students who are in MSc, MPharm, MTech, BTech, all these B Pharmacy students. So they come to me with their ideas, we design a project, and they write their thesis and submit it to the Andhra University as a part of their final presentation. And then we do publications. Like I said, we have our own journal. So most of the PG projects that are done in my lab, we try to send these projects as a manuscript to the outside journals. But if they don't get accepted, then we publish it in our own journal. So it motivates the students that they have done the work, they worked hard, and then they got a publication out of it. And then we have patents. So I'm actually really thankful to the previous Vice Chancellor, Professor P.V. G.D. Prasad Reddy, because one time he told me that, hey Ravi, we have this new approach where we're going to put in some money for the patents. So we students, faculty members, whoever it is. By the way, I'm a professor of practice in the Department of Biotechnology here. I'm a part-time faculty, so I also belong to the AU family. So he said, we are funding these patents, the patent applications of the process. And that's when I thought, okay, this is excellent. All I have to do is grab the students, encourage them, brainwash them, and send them to the IPR office to file the patent. That's all I need to do. And I love doing that, actually. That's fantastic, because it's really a good feeling when I see a student comes forward with an idea saying that, yeah, I think we should do this. But they lack the clarity. You're going on the right track, but you just have to do a detour and you'll be fine on the highway. So with that being said, one of my founding student, she's actually a faculty, and now she's working on her master's in Sweden. So what she did was she came to me and she said, actually it's an interesting story, but I'll just keep it short. So she was from Geetham University. She was in BTech as a part of her final project. They were supposed to work as a group of 6 students on H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori. So H. pylori is a bacterium that causes gastric ulcers and sometimes gastric cancers. But somehow she couldn't fit the group because some people in that group were dominating. They were not really transparent. And then she came to me and said, I want to work on H. pylori. I said, okay, sure, fine. What do you want to do? And then she went back, read a bunch of papers, and she came back to me and said, well, there is no drug to treat H. pylori. We are just using regular antibiotics. I said, okay, why don't you find something specific to H. pylori? And then she used her computer. She looked at a bunch of computer models, the molecule shapes, etc. And she comes to me and is like, I found a molecule. I think this is going to work. So I looked at it. We did some analysis. And then I said, okay, let's talk to the organic chemistry branch. And then we get it synthesized. And as you can see, on the left side, there's a plate containing bacterial colonies. And on the right side, it says plate containing the drug. As you can count the number of colonies on the right side plate, the drug is very effective. So we see more than 90% inhibition of the bacterial growth. So immediately we filed for a couple of patents, and I'm actually proud of this project. Though is actually talking to us, and we wanted to negotiate, and it was through Professor Purushottam. So I have to get back to him and to reconnect and try to do this thing, make this thing happen. And then, another example here is there are vaccines for COVID-19, right? So you get the shot and then you get booster shot, and there are emerging variants, right? We started with alpha variant, and now I don't even know how many variants we have because the Omicron itself has 7 different subvariants. So I lost count on the different types of variants in the COVID-19. But Madhuri said, why don't we do something that is kid friendly? Because, those shots are very painful. They're oily injections, and some people get very swellings. And especially during the curfew, you can't really just go out to the dispensary or the clinic and get the booster shots, right? Because there's curfew on. So she said, we will take the lactobacillus bacterium and genetically modify them to produce the coronavirus spike protein. I said, that's fine. So she did that, and then she prepared yogurt, that's curd. So she prepared curd using the genetically modified lactobacillus bacterium containing the coronavirus spike proteins. So when you eat this curd, what happens is the bacteria goes into your intestine and it will produce the spike protein. So your immune system immediately reacts to that, and you get vaccinated immediately on the spot. And there is no pain, and almost no side effects, because except for the people that are lactose intolerant, the curd is actually a universal solution because it's got no side effects. And then that was her first discovery. And then later on, she said, wait a minute, we also have the self-sustained boosting capacity for this vaccine. We don't need to eat multiple curd. Even if you want to eat multiple cups of curd, that's fine because it has no side effects. But it has an inherent capacity of boosting itself, because the lactobacillus bacterium will talk to other bacteria that are present in your gut, and it will transfer those spike protein genes into the other bacteria. So all these bacteria will produce the spike protein, and that generates a huge amount of antibodies. So you'll get booster dose. Okay, and this all happens automatically in your stomach or your intestines. So that is self-sustained boosting edible vaccine, probiotic vaccine without any side effects. So we filed for 2 patents. So recently I have Lekhana and Rohita. Rohita is actually in the audience. So what they've done is they were discussing about the diabetes. I'm actually a diabetic, so they're actually concerned about me. So what they were thinking about is some people, the type 1 diabetes is actually a genetic disorder. They have to take injections on the stomach or thighs. So these injections are painful, and the biggest disadvantage of taking insulin injections is the moment insulin gets into your blood, it immediately drops the blood glucose, which means you feel dizziness, you have to eat something immediately, or some people might actually end up in being a coma state. So what they have done is they've genetically modified a plant, it could be any plant, or vegetable or fruit that can be consumed raw without cooking, because if you cook, then the insulin is destroyed. So for example, apple or a carrot or something that you can eat raw. So these genetically modified vegetables and fruits, they contain the insulin, and then you just eat it, and it will go and slowly digest. As the fruit or vegetable is getting digested, the insulin is slowly released. So your blood glucose level is not dropping suddenly, but it is constantly maintained in the appropriate levels. So we applied for 2 patents. One is a product patent, the other one is a process. And I'm sure some of you have actually seen this in the news lately, in the ETV, Big TV, and ANI. We've got national level coverage for this discovery. Maithili and Hindu. Maithili is actually in the audience. What they've done is they've collected the menstrual waste blood from women. Usually women throw away all the waste, right, every month. So they have actually collected that blood. They've isolated the endometrial stem cells from that waste. And they use these stem cells with biocompatible gels. And we went to the AMTZ Bio Valley that is located in the steel plant. So with the help of people in the Bio Valley, we were able to print 3D shapes. You can see we've printed like a square shape and a circular shape. The idea is in the future we should be able to use these bioprinters to print organs. Who knows, maybe a kidney or heart or lung, maybe we'll be able to print a brain. We don't know yet, but the opportunities are endless. So this is actually a very groundbreaking discovery, I would say, because it's the first time that anybody has ever done printing, 3D printing stem cells that were isolated from waste. So this is a perfect definition for wealth from waste. And like I said, we are not only in the life sciences, we also do chemistry. So one of my students is an M-Pharmacy student from Andhra University. He was synthesizing a drug. He said, why don't we just do a microwave oven-based synthesis? I said, that's fine. And so by doing the microwave assisted synthesis, what happens is the microwave supplies high energy, and you don't have to use all these unnecessary solvents, acids, and all those things. Because when you do a typical organic chemistry reaction, you have a lot of waste that is generated, and it's hard to dispose. You cannot just throw it anywhere, right? Because it's chemicals, it's hazardous. You have to have somebody come and pick it up and dispose them properly. And it costs a lot for the disposal. So what he did was he took those two reactants and he put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. MW stands for microwave. And then he got the product. So I said, well, this is good. So we filed for patent last month, actually. So we're waiting for the number. So this is an example just to show you that, we're not just life sciences, but we're also doing things. We are looking for innovations in science. Could be physics, mathematics. As long as I understand what you're bringing to me, we'll bring the innovation. So the current status, I'm actually happy to share that 4 of our ideas got shortlisted for the MSME hackathon recently, and we're hoping that some of them will get selected for the next round. And we're really looking forward to that. We have 20 plus pipeline of live projects. I just discussed a few today, but there are 20 plus. And so all the projects, I'm proud to say that we are not funded by the government. We are not funded by the private. We are not worried about funding because I'm spending everything from my personal savings. This is out of my own passion because I want to generate the next generation scientists and scientific entrepreneurs in India. So that is my goal. So, we'd love to get some funding, but I'm not going to sweat over it. I don't want to spend money, spend my time thinking how to get the money. Please, no offense to anyone. And then we're planning to start an online internship for the high school students in the United States. This was an arrangement through one of my friends. That most probably, if everything goes well, we'll be starting this this summer. And then we have, like I said, we're negotiating with Aurobindo, the compound for the Helicobacter pylori. And then we are actually very interested. We are interested in commercializing that yogurt vaccine for COVID-19. So there are many products. I hope I didn't cross my time limits and I kept it very brief. I can talk for hours, but thank you for listening to me. Thanks for the opportunity.
Time for any questions?
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, I guess we have a Q&A.
We have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. V.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to interact with you. One question is, one of the slides you had that endometrial stem cells. So it's interesting because we only, at least as far as I know, I only knew that umbilical cord had that stem cells. So this is very interesting that a menstrual waste has stem cells. Thank you. This is groundbreaking.
Thank you. And one more thing that I forgot to mention is it's non-invasive. You don't have to cut the umbilical cord or you don't have to drill a hole into your bone marrow to get the stem cells. It's naturally coming out and people are throwing it away. So instead of throwing it away, we'll just ask them to donate it to us. We take the stem cells out of it.
How do they collect it? Yes.
See, that's the biggest problem because in India, women are not open, sharing these things. But you know, we got lucky. I have to thank Maithili for that because she really spoke to her friends, classmates, and she convinced some of the volunteers. And we're happy that some of the ladies were actually generous enough to, you know, share their waste.
I have a question there. So your company has multidisciplinary domains, right? So did anything in the simulation with 3D graphics, or I mean experimenting the molecular level structures with the simulations? Anything happened?
Yeah, we have published multiple papers on molecular dynamic simulations. We do it regularly. So, for example, the latest study that I can share with you is one of the FDA-approved drugs, molnupiravir. It's for the COVID-19 treatment. Molnupiravir actually induces mutations in proteins in humans. So what we did is we generated multiple, all possible mutant models of human proteins that are affected by the molnupiravir. We've performed about 25 to 30 nanoseconds of MD simulations, trajectory analysis, and yeah, we do it on a regular basis.
For these, did you use any computational powers? I mean, like GPUs or any other specific?
Yeah, we use
hardware?
GPUs, gaming laptops. I mean, we're looking for a cluster. So far, no luck. If you know of any clusters, please let us know. We'll be more than happy because we need clusters.
I mean, I have seen these simulations working on supercomputer, but we have to connect it through the.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Supercomputer.
Cluster is
Yeah.
a supercomputer. Yes.
Another question is on the yogurt. The yogurt that you had, can that be extended to other forms of drug delivery for not only just COVID but other things? Is there a possibility?
Actually, this is. I'm so glad you asked the question because of the time restrictions, I didn't share the other story. So we're also interested in doing a malaria vaccine, but we couldn't file for a patent because we already filed for a patent for this. So my students said, no, we want a different patent. So what they did was they used almond milk and prepared yogurt, almond yogurt, with bifidobacterium instead of lactobacillus, and they filed for a patent. Yes, the answer to your question is it is possible, and we are actually going to release the malaria vaccine using almond milk, almond yogurt, bifidobacterium instead of lactobacillus. So this is what I love about it. When the students they collide with each other, innovation goes crazy, and that's what I want to see. That's all I want to see.
Thank you.
There is a question on YouTube. So there is a question from YouTube. How do you find challenge to increase awareness and excitement in students in India?
Well, my logic is very simple. So when I talk to students in general, I kind of analyze how interested they are. A genuinely interested student would actually convince me that this is important. He or she wanna get deeply into it. And the students who are not really interested in it, they have a casual conversation with me, and I say, okay, that's fine. So based on my observations, when I identify students who have that intellect and also the commitment qualities, I talk to them more often, and then I tell them, okay, well, if you think this is a good idea, let's discuss it more. But one thing that I have done, especially I got invited to give a seminar yesterday to the Visakhapatnam Degree College, and I was talking to a group of undergraduate students, life sciences students. What I did was, instead of emphasizing on the novelty, I just showed a bunch of slides with the inventions that we did in our lab, and they were excited. So I guess that is one possible way to trigger these minds, young minds. Yeah. But if people are not interested, I'm definitely not going to push them. Innovation is not obtained by pushing people.
So that question was from Amar, who is a manager or owner of a company in Aha.
Okay.
He also had a comment. He is really happy to know about diabetes treatment.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Can you talk briefly about the process of commercializing your research?
Yeah, so I guess we have to come to you for that because we are looking for companies that are interested in our products. Like I said, for this the H. pylori compound, so it's MA01027. So it starts with the Madhumita Aguna, that is MA. So the MA01027, when Professor Purushottam was here on campus, he invited somebody and they said, they're from some company or maybe they know somebody from Aurobindo. We briefly initiated the talks, but then, we never got a chance to follow up. Definitely, I think we have multiple products in my lab and we are definitely interested in commercializing. But it's just me being, like you said, the TCAPC is deeply rooted into the academic research, in addition to these patents and, startup ideas, entrepreneurial training and everything. Because we're deeply rooted into the academia, it's kind of hard for me to actually balance the time between the two. Because, talking to people and trying to negotiate and all these things. But, AHA would be our best solution, and in fact, I think that I'll come and talk to you guys at some point.
Hi, I have two questions. So the first one is, did you consider any regulatory compliance on this?
So we, for this particular compound, we are actually getting ready to do animal studies at the moment, and that is why we are actually, restraining this because we don't want to release this into public yet. We know it definitely works, as you can see the two plates. But we want to make sure that this compound, this MA01027, doesn't have any side effects. So once we complete the animal studies, then we can actually go public and looking for investors, and that's when the regulatory things become more relevant and prominent.
Yeah, and the second question actually, of course, if you think about the commercial aspect, what are the alternative existing solutions that are available? How can this will be have a competitive edge?
So this is a question that we discussed before we. So that goes back to the drawing board actually. The drawing board. This is where we're drawing things. Like I tell my students clearly, if it is something that is already in the market, I'm not interested. If it is something that is just a small tweak of what is already existing in the market, I'm not interested. If you are completely new and completely a new way, new approach, then talk to me. So coming back to your question, we haven't encountered any situation where we're really close to something that is already existing in the market, except for I guess one invention where two of my students, they said we're going to use the carica papaya leaf extract for increasing the platelets. I said that's already been done. People are actually taking those tablets. But then they said, well, when they take these tablets, the platelets will go up but then fall again. We have a special formulation where we can actually take them up and then sustain them. And then I said, okay, talk to me. So yeah, this is something that we have before going to the 3D shape. We do this in the drawing board level itself because it's better to do more discussions on the beginning of the project rather than at the final step. I hope I answered your question.
So you said you work across disciplines. Do you currently have any collaborative relationship with faculty in other departments?
Yeah, so we collaborate with Dr. Siddhaya in organic chemistry department. I'm actually a part-time faculty in the pharmaceutical sciences, biotechnology department. We do collaborate with Professor Girija Shastri Madam from pharmaceutical chemistry. And we use the NMR machine that is maintained by Dr. Murali Krishna from pharmacy. And of course, we have a collaboration within zoology department. Recently, with one of the Professor Emeritus, Dr. Bhartalakshmi, she gave me 5 students and said, we want to do something related to a plant that she believes has medicinal values. And I said, yeah, that's fine. and somehow the discussion ended up on migraine. And then I said, the students are excited about taking these plant extracts and doing some experiments. I said, wait a minute, do we have a diagnostic kit to actually confirm that a person has migraine versus regular headache? The answer was no. So I told them, why don't we work on this? And they came up with a lot of things, and we actually identified a few biomarkers, and now we filed for a patent. So we actually designed a diagnostic kit that confirms that a person actually has migraine and it's not a regular headache. So that is a collaboration within the zoology department. Yeah, so we are actually collaborating. And we are looking for more collaboration. Any faculty members, I'd be more than happy. Just call me. I'll come and talk to you. You don't have to come. So I think I've given my phone number here. Yeah. So please call me. I'll be more than happy to come by your lab or your office. We'll discuss and we can collaborate.
Do you have any need for computer science people?
Yeah, we want to do AI-based vaccine design. So we want. I think he needs something.
No. You were standing in front of the camera.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody knows HIV, right? AIDS. There's no vaccine for AIDS so far, and we want to use the AI to actually track it down and design a vaccine for HIV infections. So we are looking for people with an AI background. I mean, I'm looking for a real expert that can guide me rather than me guiding them. So, thank you.
Thank you. That was really, really good. Working on the HIV vaccine will be a good time now because Trump is cutting off funds everywhere. So, yeah, that'll be very good. But thank you very much. That was very, very good to hear all the work that you're doing with students and so much innovation happening on campus here. So let's move on to the next one. Do we have any startup pitches? I didn't hear from anybody for startup pitches, but we have an idea pitch. I know that. Okay. Let's see. We have Patient Technologies. You have 23 slides. You have 3 minutes.
We will go for websites. I already share website details.
We usually don't let anybody present for idea pitches, but
So we
I'm
can
going
also
to allow
sell
that
outlet
because we have
guidance.
nobody else presenting today. Okay. Come on up. You can't see the window. No, it's open. I can't see it.
We changed the.
It's okay, I'll open it.
Change the desktop.
I'll see the desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hello. Hi, myself Abhishek Patnaik. So I am an MBA pass out. So I have been from 6 years from the entrepreneurship line. Okay, so I already did some ventures in IIT Kharagpur. Okay, so this is my third venture. So which I am starting with. This is completely AI based technology. So this is what our startup do. Na? So like we are in under process of the startup registration. So we are the world first startup who are doing AI powered self checkout system in 6 lakhs to 7 lakhs lakes. So nobody in the world right now, because big companies are there, Amazon, like Amazon Go, Decathlon, some big companies, standard companies, but nobody like coming in this customization range of this cost, because this is the what we are doing. We are using some pre-trained models, AI pre-trained model, and some existing software and existing infrastructure. So on that basis, we are completely doing some. Hello. So what we are doing now, so existing on that pre-existing software, so we are trying to develop one software, okay, which is basically on the AI systems, okay. So this what we are trying to do now. So right now what we are doing, just imagine, so where you are entering in any kind of shopping malls, okay, like grocery shopping malls or supermarket, just imagine there is a no lines, okay. You just came inside, you just go enter into the shopping mall, you just take your whatever you want in a grocery products and just payment and just get out from your shopping malls. So this is our system. This is a world first Amazon Go type system where we are doing with the AI powered self checkout system. Means here customer will entry and our AI cameras, and we are using some existing computer vision model. Okay, so you can see that this is our company. Then what we are trying to do. So this is the self checkout system which is already existing in some shopping malls and supermarket. So what we are trying to, we are just reallocating the budget, okay, because this one AI powered self checkout means it will cost near about 8 CR to 10 CR per store, okay, to if we want to implement. So what we are trying to do is this, we are doing some reverse engineering and we are putting some algorithms, okay, on, and we are doing some AI trained pre-trained models, means already existing in open source. So we are taking some that AI trained model. So we are with the integrated with the stores security like CCTV camera, ES gate. So integrating with those things, we are just developing one AI system. So our target customer is like supermarkets, departmental store, convenience stores, like big bazaars. So these are the big industry who want to take this high tech technology, but due to complexity of the AI training, and some retailers also have to pay some like use means they are taking, okay. So this I just go to through my website. So this is our like our services. This is the checkout system, inventory, advanced data analytics, and integration and security and support and training. So these all things we are going to give to the retail shops, like means who are like shopping malls or departmental stores, okay. And this is our like services. So you can see that our team, this is the like initial our team, okay. So this is the things and FAQ questions are there. So basically we are like in initial stage, like pre-seed stage right now, and we are looking for a MVP development of prototypes of trials and tests. For that we need some, we are also looking for some angel investor or VCs for the equity basis, means 100% we are going for equity basis. So on that company diluting some equities, we are just want to some capital to like to develop this MVP model to execute in abroad. So this is our main startup websites and how we are trying to go for a further. So I hope understand. Okay.
Any questions?
Maybe you can clarify me if I'm not correct. What I understood actually, a big companies might have their own software platform to handle. A small players might not like to afford that. Probably are trying to leverage that as a market space. Okay, but now for what I can see, probably image processing can be there. But what else you think in the AI checkout means that? And the second thing, how have you thought about it? How the present trend can move? Keeping in employees to get away from that, try to replace with cameras and going this type of thought process in industry perspective.
Yeah. So according to your first question, so sir, this is the AI what we are trying to using first now. So we are doing what thing now, like we are putting the combination of the technology, because taking the huge leverage of high tech solutions or high tech of AI models or computing some AI model. So that is a very expensive to tolerate the budget constraint. So what we are trying to do is we are integrating with some computer AI vision models and some weight sensors and some depth sensor, integrating with the store CCTV and ES gates also. By combination of these 4 technologies together, we are just trying to cost eliminate that cutting cost. So what other companies are right now not doing. And second important question is that, sir, customers want the more experience and more appealing in the customer experience, like by taking the purchasing. They don't want long queues, long lengths, or standing in front of the like peak hours, or there is some shoplifting problems is also there. Some inventory is not up to date. They are updating the inventory of the end of the day. So this all eliminating. And why this we are trying to do that? Because in the world there is about to a $20 billion market cap is there for AI like supermarkets, and this is a complete like initial stage booming like money. It is a like emerging market within the 10 to 15 years. So we are trying to catch the nerves in initial stage. If once we get the initial stage nerve, so it can be revolutionize the entire the shopping market and industry domain, sir. So right now other companies are not giving this kinds of the investments, sir. So that's it. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. We are running out of time, so we have to cut it short. Thank you. Next time when you register your company, a few months later, you can come back to pitch a longer pitch. Thank you. We have some time for open mic. Anybody wants to share their thoughts? I actually would like to invite the patent holder to say 2 words. The not patent holder, but the lady who worked on the 3D printing. You have a question or a
comment? Every time we get some new people who don't know what open mic is. So
What is open mic? That's the
spending
question.
30 seconds to tell them so that they.
I know what it means in the karaoke bar.
I know what it means in stand-up comedy.
Right.
But open mic is if you want to share a thought, share an idea, quick feedback. You have 30 seconds of maximum 1 minute. So please go ahead. You want to say a few words about your experience, how it felt working with? No, you can move. Thank you.
No, Maithili, move to the middle.
Hello everyone, I'm Maithili, so I'm doing my MSc second year in Biotechnology Department, Andhra University. So we have been working on this project since 1.5 years. As sir said that it was very difficult part, the most difficult part of this was collecting the menstrual blood. It's because, let me be very open, since I worked on this, ladies generally they use pads, right? So we needed people who used menstrual cups. So first task, it was very difficult for searching those people who were using menstrual cups, and people have different opinions on giving their blood, right? So they did not come forward, and then we have tried to explain our project. So some of the volunteers, they came forward to give blood, and successfully we have isolated the Buffy coat in which the stem cells are present. That also we failed many times, and then after it's like we took some 5 months or so. Then we were successful in isolating this Buffy coat and then growing our stem cells. Then that in the semester we had this paper wherein we got to know about 3D bioprinting and all these things, and then we had an industrial tour to AMTC. So that is when we saw this equipment wherein we saw that they're printing these organs like cartilages, nose, etc. So then we thought that anyway we are supposed to do our MSc project. That is when we thought that will be my friend Indu. She had this idea of doing 3D bioprinting. So we thought that yeah, we already have stem cells, so let's print something with stem cells. Then that we thought that we'll be printing organoids, and then we were initially with the prototype printing, and we were successful in that. Now that in the future we are thinking to print organs. So these can help with people like diabetes. So in that case, we'll be printing 3D pancreas, a functional pancreas, and this we can replace this. We can remove the damaged organs, and we can put this inside the body so that it can be a proper functional organ for them, instead of using these medicines and all these things. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
As a follow-up question,
Yeah.
how do you the stem cells?
Please use the mic because people on the YouTube can't hear you.
Okay.
So can you explain how the stem cells can be used to print different organs, because different organs have different cells, right? So what is the process of taking it from basic stem cells to, making them into a pancreas or something like that? Because printing is slightly complicated.
So for that question, thank you for asking. But then it's like the patent number is still waiting. I can't disclose all the details, but then I can give you a brief information about that. Like we use this biocompatible gels. So we'll be growing enough number of stem cells and we'll be mixing them with those biocompatible gels. So then we'll be mixing and initially we'll be seeing the compatibility. Like how much is the cell surviving in those gels or not. And then according to whatever shape we want, we'll be printing it and we'll be growing in that shape. So stem cells are the basic for any kind of cells in the body. So it can be modulated or it can be modified to whatever cells we want. So they can be induced with all the factors, like what the cells we want, like heart cells, liver cells, etc. We'll be inducing those factors to the stem cells and then they can be grown to the desired product. I hope I answered your question.
It's so good to get a response like that instead of saying that was not in my syllabus.
Out of six.
It is really good to hear what you're saying, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share? Yeah.
So I'm not experienced in AI, but my question to people who are in AI is like, how do you think ethics are important? You're taking videos, using images, mining things that could get into the privacy of people. How do you feel about that? Like, how do ethics play a role in the AI? It's a naive question, but
Srinivas has a response.
That is something that I've already discussed with Diwakar as a topic that I would like to actually do a lot of research on and present papers and maybe at some point of time complete my PhD on. And then I'll answer that question.
Okay.
So right now it's out of syllabus.
Out of syllabus.
Yeah, see, I do agree that of course ethics comes into the picture, whether they are doing MRI scan, whether they are doing any images, but at the same time, probably in certain aspects, it's going to be bigger cost to maybe save the people in those aspects. Probably we have to make the regulations and something we have to move ahead. And at the second aspect, the world is open market unless until the world form come to that policies and the regulations. Even if you don't do from India, someone else will come and provide that solution. So maybe it's a different bigger debate.
All right. It is 5 minutes to 5:30. We're closing. We're coming close to the end. Anybody else has any thought? Maybe one more minute. Anybody wants to share a thought? Okay. All right. We have a few announcements. As I am reading these announcements, so we hope you enjoyed the session. Here is a way to tell us. We have a feedback form. I'll put the QR code at the end as I'm done with the announcements. So please scan it and provide us your feedback. Our second of the 6 launch and level up workshops was held successfully this last Tuesday and Wednesday. The next workshop on building your team and culture within a startup will be on 25th and 26th of March. So these are a series of workshops that we go for 6 months, one a month. It's a 2-day workshop on different aspects of entrepreneurial journey. The next HackAP hackathon is on ChemTech. On March 30th, it will be focused on challenges in the chemical and chemical engineering fields. Problem statements are out. Please register. Multidisciplinary teams are strongly encouraged. Please encourage your students to participate in these hackathons. They are not your make-believe or fictitious problems. They are drawn from real life. So they have practical applications, and we often have people working with our winners, building market-ready solutions. We have a demo day coming up. If you have something to demonstrate and find investors for your invention, please engage with this event. It is here in this building, this room and the next room. It will be actually the next Startup Saturdays, same time, but we will start at 2 o'clock. So we're looking forward to that. I think there are limited slots, 6 slots for demonstrations, and there will be pitches, 5 pitches. So please hurry up, and we are expecting a few investors here, close to about 6 or 8 investors coming to this demo day. Our next session for Startup Saturdays will be on March 15th, which will be the demo day. In half an hour, we have, Thai Vizag. Wait, we have a few announcements from Thai Vizag. Do we?
Yeah, actually, I do have one, but you should talk about the March 14th.
That, as I was listening to Professor Ravikiran, I had a different idea. Anyway, March 14th, we are trying to put together a session on writing research papers. So, Srinivas and I initially thought we will have like a seminar like this where I'll be presenting. For those of you who don't know, I have a PhD in social work, and I used to be a faculty, and I published. So Srinivas thought it will be useful for several people if I present a session on writing research papers. But after listening to your session, we thought there are a few others on campus who regularly publish. We should have some sort of a discussion instead of a one person presenting it. And maybe we can make it a periodic thing every month or 2 months. Meet for lunch and talk about different details, and everybody is welcome. Depending on how big the crowd is, we can figure out what room we can go. But all this is in the works. We are still discussing, but this date is set, March 14th. So how this is going to come together, we will let you know. We will announce it. I am supposed to prepare a poster, which Srinivas has asked me for. I haven't gotten there yet, but we will. Is there anything I missed? Or did I say something that I shouldn't have?
Yeah, now you're confusing people with
what?
Because there's no clarity. You're just saying March 14th. First, please block your date for March 14th, 10:30 to 12:30 or 10:30 to 1 o'clock. So, that way, we'll actually do the discussion rather than.
What time is that?
10:30 to 12:30.
It's class.
1 o'clock. That's okay.
Bring your class.
Yeah, bring the class. As a part of TAI, TAI is an international organization, non-profit. We have a TAI Vizag chapter. Ravi is the president. Ravi Ishwarapu is the president of the TAI Vizag chapter. I help him run that. We have multiple programs in there. One of those, Startup Saturdays, demo days, and even the one that we're trying to do, well, we'll see. We're trying to see if TAI will actually help that. It's not directly connected with entrepreneurship, but R&D is a part of things that we would, ultimately expect entrepreneurs to benefit from. There is a TAI University program, where students and people, undergrad, grad, different levels of students can participate in pitching competition, but mentoring and a lot of other things that happen. The TAI program is open, and if you just follow the TAI website or the TAI social media links on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or even Blue Sky, you should be able to get some details. If you have a startup and you're a student, you're welcome to apply. Member institutions usually are preferred right now. Any more details that you need, please contact me. Thank you.
You can follow TAI by scanning this. All their social media handles are in that QR code. Okay. Just keep your phones up because we're not done scanning yet. There is more coming. Please provide feedback of this session. We do look at feedback. Yeah. And you can join us on WhatsApp for Startup Saturdays. I can tell who's student, who's not. Just by looking at people who are continuing to scan because I said so or something. Go ahead, see what's
Posting guidelines.
Posting guidelines, yeah. On WhatsApp, we are very picky, very strict. If you post good morning, good night, happy Diwali, happy birthday, we immediately delete, and 4 messages later you will be deleted. No, that was not. That's not true.
That's how it should be.
We keep posting rules of the WhatsApp group. It is pretty strictly monitored. So those of you who are joining the group, please don't post anything that's not relevant to Startup Saturdays. No advertising your companies, no advertising. Well, if you publish the paper, please don't post it on there because that may not be relevant to Startup Saturdays. Only entrepreneurship related. You can like, follow, and subscribe our social media handles from this. So in half an hour, we have been there, done that. A conversation with Miss Vaijayanti. That's a talk show I run. She is the wife of Commander Surunakar. Surunakar was the guest 2 weeks ago. He was detained unlawfully in a Qatari prison for 18 months. He was detained without cause, was accused of espionage, and handed a death sentence. While he was searching for some meaning in all that was happening to him in solitary confinement, Vaijayanti led a heroic fight to get him back. She will share her experience of how she moved mountains to get him back. After 18 months, he is back with his family. Join us right here in this room at 6 p.m. to discuss the journey of a heroine and the community that rallied around her. So thank you all for coming to Startup Saturdays. This was a great session. Please join us for a photograph at the stage.